I have 3 tips for you guys that only old Counter-Strike players know, and I think a lot of the newer Counter-Strike players should learn these tips. So I'm going to go through these and explain them and how you can abuse them and outsmart your opponent. Starting off with the first one, and it's using multiple guns. Now, there's a lot of times where you're in, let's say a 2v2 situation. Let's say the bomb's planted on A site here on Mirage, and your teammate is flanking, and you have to retake from the CT side. Now, a lot of times maybe a teammate might have died in CT spawn. Maybe he died back here, let's say, and he was using a M4A4. So I would be running through spawn here with my A1S. And what I would want to do is bait that there's 2 people here. So I'd want to maybe spam a little bit with my A1S and then pick up my A4. And what this does is I'm showing the other team, the Ts that are in their post plant, that there's actually 2 in CT spawn. But the positioning that they're in, they probably have someone maybe in Palace or maybe someone like Firebox. They're not going to hear me swapping guns in spawn, and they're automatically going to think that both are in spawn, and it's going to give my teammate here a great opportunity to flank out of ramp. And it's something that a lot of the newer players don't really do, but it's definitely something a while ago in CSGO that a lot of players used to do. Like, there's some famous clutches of, like, I know Twist had one where he would like shoot his op and then he pulled out his M4 and fragged someone very quickly, just thinking that he wasn't going to be ready for someone in front of him, but also the other team thought that maybe there's 2 people there. And there's a lot of different things how you can abuse this, especially even if you are on the T side. If you have like multiple guns, let's say you killed a B anchor and you pick up an A4 and you just want to spam your A4 and you pick up an AK. There's so many different scenarios that you can use this little tip with, but it's very, very good, especially if you are on the CT side and you are retaking and you have a teammate that is flanking. You want to always make it seem like there's 2 people, just like this example that I gave you, shooting both of those guns, showing that the T's like, hey, there's 2 guns here, so probably they're, both of the CTs are there. Especially if you are in the lower ranks, these noobs that are here on site are gonna obviously think, hey man, there's definitely both in spawn, and it's something that's just gonna just totally flip out the other team once your teammate that is flanking here kills everybody. It's gonna just give them like, holy smokes, they just did that, we just got outplayed. So it's definitely a trick that you guys need to learn. And before I get into this next tip, if you guys want any cool skins like I have in my inventory right here, make sure you guys check out the sponsor of this video, Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site and marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. My favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade. If you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. So this next tip is involving the decoy grenade. Now, there's a lot of things you can actually do with a decoy grenade, but this little tip in particular is about using it as fake smokes. If you guys don't know, a long time ago, there's a team called Misfits with Sean Garris, and they actually pulled off this crazy little fake where they use decoys as fake A smokes. So if I was using the CS2 lineup, I would obviously be throwing from here. And it made the guys on A obviously think that there was smokes coming in, and it made them waste all their utility, because since they were holding their utility, they were mulling ramp, they started flashing over bench, and then they realized that they actually weren't smoke grenades, they were just decoy grenades. Now, you can abuse this a lot, especially against noobs, or if you want to throw like, maybe the fast market window smoke from here, or maybe if you just want to throw it from all the way back here, you can do that as well. There's a lot of options that you can use, pretty much a decoy grenade as a fake smoke. So you have a lot of options on almost every single map, especially on somewhere like Dust 2. If you want to throw the fast B door smoke, just use it as a decoy grenade. You can really pull some rotations and find some gaps, which if you are a newer player, you definitely are going to have to learn on pretty much what the gaps would be if you are trying to throw like a fake smoke. Like, for example, if I threw those fake ones on Mirage, obviously we would have a tiny little gap to walk out mid here and maybe just find an opening or just make space for us. So that's definitely something that if you are newer and you are looking at these tips, trying to see what older CS players, used back in the day that you can still use now, I'll definitely go and study up the game just a little bit to see how to find those gaps and what pretty much each execute creates on the map, so you know how to abuse those gaps. But since I am talking about the decoy grenade, I'm going to get into the next tip, and that is fake flashbangs. Now, I don't see fake flashbangs being used that much in Counter-Strike anymore, but I remember when they did add the grenade dropping, I did see a lot lot of people abusing, fake flashes literally just by like throwing them out in the air like this, which I think is really cool. And that's one way you can abuse them. But obviously, there's a bunch of different ways. Since we were talking about the decoy grenade, literally just throwing a decoy grenade like this and swinging with it can definitely throw an opponent off because they're going to see this fly in the air. They're not going to really look at it, especially again, if you are a newer player, they're not going to be able to instantly see what grenade is flying in front of them. So they're going to instantly turn from this and you're going to get a lot of free kills. Now, there is times where people will use their weapons as well to just kind of throw up in the air and just pretty much just try to throw one of those fake flashbangs. There's so many options to use those with that I don't see a lot of people using anymore. But I think really the coolest one is literally just throwing a flashbang like this because people will turn from that, especially if you are a really good player and your enemy, might be a higher rank than you, or maybe you play at the higher ranks. They're going to be able to see that it is a flashbang being thrown and they are going to turn from it, not knowing that you're literally just dropping it on the ground with your drop key, whatever it is, like mine's G. So that's definitely something that you guys could abuse. There's also famous clips of like Simple throwing his op out in the air, which isn't really a fake flashbang, but it could obviously just throw your opponent off wondering like, what the heck is he doing? Why is he throwing that in my face? And then all of a sudden you just win your 1v1 clutch and then you make it to the major finals, right? So there's a lot of cool things that you definitely can do with fake flashbangs. I've even seen people like throw a smoke. Well, they'll just right click a smoke and then swing with it like that. So that's definitely something that you guys can abuse. And I think it's really cool if you find creative ways on how you can abuse it. Like I said, by just throwing, throwing your flashbangs a very creative way, which I don't see a lot of people do often anymore after the grenade dropping update. But it'd be cool if we saw that a little bit more. But I mean, pretty much just the OG days. If you are an older Counter-Strike player, you obviously know of just throwing fake decoys or just throwing a smoke grenade and just swinging with it is obviously the one thing that we always did by throwing fake flashbangs. So if you are a newer player, I'd really recommend that you put that in your arsenal so you can throw your opponents off. But that's all the tips that I have for you guys. If you think I left out any of those tips, make sure you guys comment down below. I read all my comments and I appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.